Have you ever found yourself doing things for a woman that ultimately hurt your self-respect? You're not alone. It's a relatable feeling that can leave you drained and questioning your self-worth. It's time to reclaim your power and build healthy, balanced connections. Join us as we explore the ancient philosophy of Stoicism and discover 13 things you should never do for a woman or anyone that compromise your self-respect and breed codependency. This isn't about playing the blame game or suggesting you shouldn't care about the women in your life. It's about understanding how to care in a healthy, respectful, and ultimately more fulfilling way for you and them. But wait, there's more. If you're passionate about building stronger, healthier relationships and leading a more fulfilling life, hit that subscribe button and join our community. We explore powerful philosophies like Stoicism that can help you create the life of your dreams. So, what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Number 1. Assuming preferences. It's possible to imagine a scenario where you surprise your partner with roses, their supposed favorite flower, only to realize that they switched to lilies a year ago. This can create an awkward situation where a simple gesture to bring joy falls flat. Such a scenario, although light-hearted, demonstrates the fundamental issue that Stoic philosopher Epictetus warns against: assuming preferences. Epictetus's teachings emphasize recognizing what is within our control and what is not. Regarding preferences in a relationship, our perceptions often fall outside of our control. We can observe, interpret actions, and gather information, but ultimately, another person's preferences belong solely to them. Assuming preferences can lead to a dangerous dance between perception and reality. We risk projecting our desires or expectations onto our partner, mistaking our interpretation of their truth. This can result in misdirected efforts that miss the mark, resentment when our efforts aren't appreciated as expected, and stifle open and honest communication, which is the cornerstone of healthy relationships. Epictetus encourages us to embrace rationality and open communication to avoid this pitfall. Instead of making assumptions, we can ask direct, clear, open-ended questions. For instance, instead of assuming your partner wants Italian dinner, ask them, "What are you in the mood for tonight?" We can also practice active listening, paying attention to the words, emotions, and non-verbal cues. Additionally, we should be open to change since preferences evolve, and what they liked yesterday might not be their preference today. Embracing continuous learning about our partners is essential. It's worth noting that assuming preferences isn't necessarily malicious. It originates from a desire to please and connect. However, by consciously shifting our approach towards genuine curiosity and open communication, we can build relationships rooted in mutual understanding and respect, fostering a more fulfilling and authentic connection. Number 2. Ignoring communication. Many women in relationships feel ignored when their communication is not acknowledged, like playing music to an audience with their backs turned. Epictetus, a well-known Stoic philosopher, believed in active listening as a fundamental aspect of wisdom, which goes beyond simply hearing words, by engaging with the speaker's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Ignoring communication, particularly from women, can create a divide in relationships that can cause isolation and pain and, ultimately, damage the relationship. Ignoring communication can be detrimental for a few reasons, such as disrespect and invalidation, missed opportunities for connection, and the perpetuation of misunderstandings. Dismissing someone's thoughts and feelings shows that their opinions do not matter, which can lead to mistrust, lack of respect, and intimacy. When communication is ignored, it can create distance, making it challenging to have true understanding and emotional closeness. Unspoken thoughts and feelings can lead to assumptions, resentment, and conflict, perpetuating misunderstandings. To cultivate the art of active listening, there are some steps that we can follow inspired by Epictetus's teachings. Put away distractions such as phones and TVs and be present in the moment. Show engagement by maintaining eye contact, nodding occasionally, and leaning in. Understand the deeper meaning behind words by asking clarifying questions and avoiding jumping to conclusions. Summarize what you heard to ensure understanding and invite further elaboration by paraphrasing and reflecting. Acknowledge emotions even when disagreeing to create a safe space for authentic expression. Active listening is a journey rather than a destination. By consciously practicing these steps, we can transform ourselves from passive recipients to empathic listeners, creating a relationship where every voice is heard and valued. Striving for wisdom and following Stoic principles helps us foster a deeper connection and establish a relationship built on mutual understanding and respect. The unheard melody of the heart can then become a beautiful symphony, enriching both individuals and strengthening their bond. Number 3. Overprotectiveness. Picture a stunning butterfly battling to emerge from its chrysalis. Even if your gut tells you to step in, you know that this struggle is necessary for the creature's wings to grow and enable it to fly. The same is true of partnerships, where an excessive desire to protect a woman may unintentionally impede her development and independence. The famous Stoic philosopher Seneca strongly emphasizes realizing what is and is not under our control. Fear is a common cause of overprotectiveness. It might be fear of something unknown, injury, or even losing control. But if we hold on to this anxiety, we run the risk of destroying a woman's self-worth and independence. This is why being overly cautious may be detrimental, stifles independence and growth. Releasing someone from difficulties prevents them from growing in terms of resilience, problem-solving abilities, and self-reliance. This could lead to a dependency that impedes their ability to feel successful and develop personally. Tension and irritation are fostered by feeling subjugated or in charge, which damages respect and trust. Instead of treating them like delicate items, women want partners who believe in their abilities. Overprotectiveness encourages unbalanced power dynamics where one person constantly rescues while the other requires constant rescuing. This leads to an unpleasant dynamic. As a result, there is no actual equality or cooperation, and the relationship becomes codependent. So, how can we encourage a woman's self-assurance and self-reliance without becoming overly protective? Seneca's wisdom provides insightful counsel. Put your attention on support and encouragement. Have faith in her skills and offer her support when she faces obstacles. Allow her to take the lead, yet assist her when necessary. Observe her boundaries. Even if you disagree, respect her decisions and trust her judgment. Let her face the consequences and grow from them. Honor and celebrate all of her accomplishments, no matter how minor. This boosts her self-esteem and inspires her to keep developing. Communicate truthfully and candidly. Talk to her honestly and politely about your worries. Hear her side of the story and work together to find solutions. Remember, a healthy relationship thrives on mutual trust and respect. Giving up the need to be in charge and encouraging her independence will enable her to reach her full potential and build a relationship where both of you thrive. This is consistent with the Stoic principle of concentrating on the things within our power to affect, establishing a bond based on mutual respect, support, and the vitality of personal development. Number 4. Undermining Independence. Imagine a majestic bird, elegant and powerful, aching to soar. However, its partner's expectations and restrictions have clipped one of its wings. In direct opposition to the core of the Stoic ideal of individual happiness, this metaphor illustrates what happens when we undercut a woman's freedom in a partnership. Seneca, a key figure in Stoic philosophy, promoted individual autonomy and development. He thought every person could soar, realize their potential, and share their special tune with the world. Suppressing this individual spirit in a relationship damages the woman and the partnership's foundation. Here's why it's bad to undermine independence. Undermines personal purpose. People's interests, dreams, and aspirations drive them to fulfill their purpose. Stifling these goals leaves a space where personal fulfillment ought to be found. Breeds alienation and resentment. Resentment stems from feeling restricted or in control, which pushes the woman away and causes an emotional rift. Impedes mutual development. A healthy relationship thrives when both partners are supported in their efforts to change and grow. Undermining independence leads to stagnation, in which neither person can prosper. How can we cultivate a relationship that aligns with Seneca's Stoic ideals that honor and promote each other's independence? The following are some crucial actions. Encourage and support each person's unique passions. Be her biggest fan, rooting for her goals regardless of how different they are from yours. Make room for personal interests. Give her the time and resources to pursue her interests, hobbies, and personal objectives. This cultivates a feeling of independence and self-worth. Honor personal accomplishments. Be proud and acknowledge her skill and hard work. This gives her more self-assurance and inspires her to aim even higher. Communicate truthfully and candidly. Find ways to promote each other's independence while fostering a common connection by being open and honest about your wants and expectations. Recall that a healthy partnership is about dancing together as two unique people rather than becoming one. Through sincere encouragement and celebrating one another's paths, we establish a collaboration in which both parties can flourish, culminating in a harmonious union of individual and collective fulfillment. This is consistent with the Stoic principle of mutual empowerment, in which each person's thriving deepens the group tie and creates a deeper, more meaningful connection. Number 5. Assuming financial dependency. Imagine starting a journey together and going on an amazing adventure with your significant other. However, even though they are strolling, one carries all the luggage while the other walks freely. Unfortunately, this imbalance can show up in partnerships where we take for granted a woman's financial dependence, which feeds into gender stereotypes and undermines the fairness and justice that are central to the Stoic philosophy. The prominent Stoic philosopher Seneca highlighted the value of fairness and equity in all areas of life. According to him, a genuine partnership encourages respect for one another and shared accountability, especially regarding money. This idea is violated when one assumes a woman's financial capacity just because of her gender, which also leads to an unfair and frequently unsustainable dynamic. For the following reasons, assuming financial dependency may be harmful, maintains archaic gender roles. It feeds into the damaging myth that men are providers and women are dependents, restricting the potential of both genders and escalating social injustices. Breeds anger and irritation. Feeling underappreciated or under control financially can breed resentment and frustration, which can erode trust and cause friction in a relationship. Impedes openness and communication. Uncertain financial arrangements can breed anxiety and secrecy, which stifle honest and open communication, the foundation of any successful partnership. How can we foster a fair and harmonious financial partnership while taking cues from Seneca and other Stoic thinkers? The following are some crucial actions. Engage in candid and frank dialogue. Talk honestly and freely about money, expressing your expectations, worries, and financial aspirations. This encourages openness and establishes a secure environment for cooperation. Assign shared accountability. Determine an equitable and clear allocation of financial obligations based on personal capabilities and inclinations. This could entail split costs, personal contributions, or any other arrangement that both parties agree upon. Acknowledge and cherish each person's contribution. Recognize and value each partner's contributions to the relationship, both monetary and non-monetary. This fosters mutual respect and a sense of shared duty. Seek expert advice as necessary. Seeking guidance from a financial advisor or counselor might help you develop a fair and sustainable strategy if managing your finances feels too much to handle. Recall that a happy partnership shouldn't feel hierarchical in terms of money. Through the cultivation of transparent communication, reciprocal accountability, and mutual regard, we may establish a cooperative relationship in which each party experiences a sense of empowerment, security, and equal contribution to the shared journey's financial prosperity. This lays the groundwork for a deeper, more satisfying relationship, since it is consistent with the Stoic principles of justice and fairness. Number 6. Pressuring for intimacy. Imagine constructing a stunning home one brick at a time with love. But what if you ram those bricks into the ground without considering their integrity and shape? Under any strain, the structure could collapse due to its weakening. There is a similar reality about intimacy in relationships. Pushing for it against consent erodes foundational trust and respect. This basic idea is consistent with the Stoic philosophy of Musonius Rufus, who emphasized moral behavior and the virtue of honoring the agency of others. Being a strong believer in virtue, Musonius Rufus highlights that consent is essential to intimacy and cannot be compromised. Pressuring a woman to be physically near you goes against everything that Stoicism stands for, namely, acting morally, with compassion, and with respect. This pressure can take many different forms, such as verbal prodding or emotional blackmail, and each one has negative effects. Erosion of mutual respect and trust. Intimacy thrives in a secure environment based on these values. This trust is broken by pressuring a woman to get intimate, which might make her resentful and even push her away. Ignorance of emotional connection. Real intimacy is more than a physical act. It results from a deeper emotional connection. Intimacy pressure avoids this bond and concentrates on a physical result, eventually leaving both parties unsatisfied. Personal boundary violation. Respecting one's limits is crucial in every relationship, as each person has their own. Pushing for closeness crosses these lines, infringing on people's rights and endangering their emotional health. What can we do to foster a relationship where intimacy arises out of true desire and respect for one another? In line with the key Stoic principles that Musonius Rufus advocates, the following are some crucial actions. Make honest and open communication about needs, wants, and limits a priority by creating a safe atmosphere. Respect and actively listen to one another's viewpoints. Put your attention into developing emotional closeness. Encourage stronger emotional ties by having thought-provoking discussions, sharing personal stories, and showing real affection. This lays the groundwork for sincere longing and intimate communication. Respect boundaries and exercise your right to say no. Either partner may decline any physical intimacy that they are uncomfortable with. Maintaining these boundaries promotes consent-based intimacy and builds trust. Seek expert advice as necessary. If you find managing intimacy in your relationship challenging, seek professional assistance from a counselor or therapist. This can improve communication and provide a solid foundation for a healthy, intimate relationship. Recall that closeness is a shared experience rather than a destination. By placing a high value on communication, upholding mutual respect and consent, and cultivating emotional connection, we may create a relationship where intimacy develops organically. This is consistent with the fundamental tenets of Stoicism, fostering a deeper, more satisfying relationship based on morality and decency. Number 7. Disregarding boundaries. Imagine a magnificent river honoring its banks while meandering freely, feeding the land. However, what occurs when a dam is constructed, changing the river's natural course? There is mayhem and ruin when the water overflows. In a similar vein, disrespecting a woman's limits in a relationship upsets the normal flow of trust and respect, endangering the basis of the bond. This striking metaphor aligns with the ideas of the well-known Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who stressed the value of understanding and upholding one's boundaries. As an advocate of temperance, Epictetus thought that good relationships and the development of self-control depended on respecting boundaries. Disregarding a woman's boundaries, whether they be emotional or physical, is like damming the river of respect, which can have various negative effects. The foundation of a prosperous relationship is based on trust, which can be diminished when someone feels uncomfortable or unfairly treated. Disregarding boundaries undermines the sense of security that boundaries provide by establishing a safe area where people feel understood and respected. Anger and resentment. Disregarding someone's boundaries conveys that their wants and needs are unimportant. This disdain can incite bitterness and rage, harming people's emotional health. Uncertain boundaries are the root cause of conflict and miscommunication. Boundaries that are crossed impede communication, which causes needless conflict and emotional upheaval. Thus, how can we foster a relationship that upholds and respects boundaries, keeping with Epictetus's knowledge and the Stoic virtue of moderation? The following are some crucial actions. Communicate honestly and openly. Discuss personal needs and boundaries honestly and openly. Respect one another's comfort zones and actively listen to each other without passing judgment. Always get consent. Before doing anything, including exchanging personal information or engaging in physical or emotional closeness, building trust and strengthening the relationship means honoring a no without interrogating or coercing. Exercise restraint and compassion. Understand your desires and urges and practice self-control when they go against someone else's limits. Gain empathy to comprehend their needs and points of view. Pay attention to body language, facial expressions, and other non-verbal clues that suggest discomfort or a need for space. It's crucial to respect these non-verbal clues in addition to spoken communication. Recall that appropriate limits define a safe and courteous areas inside a relationship rather than acting as walls to keep others out. We may establish a relationship where the river of respect runs freely, feeding trust and cultivating a deeper connection by emphasizing empathy, encouraging clear communication, and honoring consent. This is in line with the basic ideas of Stoicism, forging a connection based on respect for one another's uniqueness and knowledge of one another. Number 8. Making decisions without consultation. Imagine two musicians trying to play a lovely duet, but they never listen to each other's music. They each play a separate melody. What was the outcome? There is dissonance, disorientation, and an unharmonious performance. Similarly, in partnerships, making decisions entirely by yourself breeds conflict and undermines the Stoic ideal of cooperation and shared accountability. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor renowned for his reflections on leadership and the value of group decision-making, would disagree with this dissonance. In his defense of conscious leadership, Aurelius emphasized the need to seek input from others, pay attention to their viewpoints, and collaborate to find advantageous solutions for all parties. This idea can be applied to relationships in a way that goes beyond lofty declarations and encompasses even seemingly small choices. Making decisions without consulting your spouse can have negative effects. Erosion of respect and trust. Decisions made unilaterally give the impression that people's involvement and opinions are irrelevant. This damages mutual respect and trust, resulting in one person ruling and another feeling ignored, ineffective and faulty results. Not fully informed decisions can result from leaving out important viewpoints. Speaking with your spouse lets you consider alternative perspectives, which may highlight overlooked details or unexpected outcomes. Power struggles and resentment. Being left out of decision-making can lead to power battles and resentment. A more harmonious and balanced partnership is fostered through collaboration, which encourages shared ownership and responsibility. In light of Marcus Aurelius's observations and the Stoic idea of shared responsibility, how might we foster a partnership in which decisions are made cooperatively? The following are some crucial actions. Make honest and open communication a priority by having candid conversations about big choices. Discuss your points of view, pay attention to what your partner has to say, and consider their worries. Decide on common objectives and principles. Decide what your values and aspirations have in common. Collaborative decision-making is facilitated when these accepted principles are used to make decisions. Accept diverse viewpoints. Respect your partner's knowledge and distinct points of view. Various viewpoints can improve decision-making and produce more comprehensive results. Seek agreement, but only sometimes consensus. If the answers differ from what either partner would have preferred, try to find a middle ground. Negotiation and compromise are essential components of productive teamwork. Recognize and value the contributions made. Acknowledge each other's contributions to the decision-making process. Shared responsibility fosters mutual respect and a stronger relationship. Recall that a healthy relationship is a team effort rather than an individual endeavor. We can establish a collaborative decision-making environment that promotes trust, respect, and a more harmonious collaboration by prioritizing open communication, appreciating diverse viewpoints, and working toward common objectives. This aligns with the Stoic principles promoted by Marcus Aurelius, creating a relationship where mutual accountability fortifies the relationship and results in a more rewarding journey. Number 9. Assuming domestic roles. Say you have a lovely home and one person takes great care of the inside while the other only takes care of the outside. Even though both make contributions, the divide seems unbalanced, mirroring the old gender stereotypes that frequently seep into romantic relationships. This disparity runs counter to the fundamental ideas of Stoicism, a school of thought that Zeno of Citium developed and which upholds justice and equity in all spheres of existence. This idea is compromised when people assume household responsibilities based on antiquated conventions, leading to relationships that are not just unequal, but possibly unsustainable. Zeno's conception of justice penetrates the private sphere of interpersonal and larger social interactions. To be fair, it is necessary to divide and discuss household duties based on each partner's particular skills, preferences, and circumstances rather than gender. Adhering to conventional roles may have negative effects. Unfair workload and consequent resentment arise when one individual handles more household duties than the other because of gender conventions. This makes one feel taken advantage of and lessens the satisfaction of shared responsibility. Potential stifling and personal development stunted. Restricting people to gender-specific duties might impede their personal development and sense of fulfillment. Preservation of antiquated norms. By mindlessly adhering to established roles, we unintentionally support antiquated social norms and impede the advancement of true gender equality. Thus, how can we foster a fair and just collaboration consistent with the Stoic principles that Zeno of Citium embodies regarding household duties? The following are some crucial actions. Free exchange of ideas and cooperative efforts. Talk honestly and openly about household responsibilities. Determine each person's advantages, inclinations, and constraints. Collaboratively, establish an equitable and well-rounded assignment schedule. Contest ingrained beliefs. Challenge cultural norms and presumptions regarding gender roles. Accept adaptability and look into various duty-sharing approaches that benefit both parties. Put your hobbies and talents first. Consider each person's interests and skills when assigning tasks. Avoid making assumptions about what someone should do only because of gender. Frequent assessment and modification. Individual needs and life circumstances vary. To preserve fairness and balance, regularly assess the distribution of household duties and make necessary adjustments. Recognize and thank those who contributed. Acknowledge and value each other's contributions, no matter the assignment. Shared responsibility fosters mutual respect and a stronger relationship. Recall that a strong relationship is based on mutual respect and understanding rather than being a contest of who does what. We can rewrite the script of family life by emphasizing open communication, questioning conventional wisdom, and concentrating on individual capabilities. This will result in a partnership where duties are fairly shared and a just and fulfilling connection is developed. This aligns with the fundamental tenets of Stoicism, strengthening the link where justice and equality open the door to a more contented and peaceful journey. Number 10. Dismissing emotions. Imagine two musicians trying to play a lovely duet, with one providing the melody and the other keeping quiet. What was the outcome? An unfinished composition needs more depth and richness of harmonizing notes and silences. Similarly, disregarding a woman's feelings in a relationship causes a rift and silences an important note in the emotional harmony that unites spouses. This contradiction contradicts the central Stoic idea of knowing oneself and others, which the prominent Epictetus promoted. With a focus on the quest for wisdom, Epictetus saw that real connection can only be fostered when we can acknowledge and comprehend our own emotions and those of others. This idea is violated when a woman's emotions are dismissed, which has several negative effects. Loss of safety and trust. Mistrust creates a barrier when someone feels ignored and invalidated. It prevents her from expressing her feelings honestly and fosters a climate that prevents emotional closeness. Enhanced emotional detachment and annoyance. Holding in emotions might exacerbate emotional detachment and annoyance. Her sentiments become more inner and may result in negative coping techniques if she ignores them, rather than making them go away. Misunderstandings and conflict. Misunderstandings and needless conflict can result from a failure to recognize the underlying emotions that underlie words. The distance that a lack of emotional understanding creates prevents true connection and resolution. Thus, in line with Epictetus's wisdom and the Stoic quest for knowledge, how can we foster a partnership in which emotions are recognized and supported? The following are some crucial actions. Pay close attention to her non-verbal cues. Empathize with her emotions and actively listen to her words. Make sure she feels heard and understood by giving her your undivided attention. Give her feelings some validity. Even if you disagree with or don't understand her feelings, acknowledge them anyway. It can help to say something like, "I see you're upset," or "That sounds frustrating." Provide assistance and compassion. Try to see things from her point of view to demonstrate empathy. To better comprehend her sentiments and provide support, pose open-ended inquiries. Do not minimize or discount. Sayings like, "It's not that big of a deal," or "Don't be so dramatic," can be unpleasant and condescending. Rather, concentrate on accepting her emotions as real. Promote healthy expression. Whether journaling, talking through her feelings, or doing creative things, assist her in finding constructive outlets for her feelings. Recall that feelings are a fundamental aspect of the human experience. The symphony of shared feelings can grow in a relationship where empathy is fostered, support is provided, and a safe environment for emotional expression is created. This will strengthen the bond and promote a better understanding between partners. This aligns with the fundamental Stoic principles Epictetus espoused, creating a connection where emotional intelligence and mutual understanding open the door to a more satisfying and caring partnership. Number 11. Neglecting personal growth. Imagine a bonfire with crackling, dancing flames fueled by each piece of wood's distinct warmth and brilliance. Imagine putting out one of those fires now. The fire as a whole grows dimmer and loses its brightness and warmth. Similarly, when a woman's development is neglected in a relationship, it puts out a vital spark and reduces the potential and vibrancy of the bond. This runs counter to Seneca's advocacy of the Stoic ideal of individual flourishing, which strongly emphasized the pursuit of virtue and wisdom. Seneca thought that everyone could develop and become a better version of themselves. When we obstruct this development, we damage the person and the basis of the relationship. This is why it can be harmful to ignore personal development, stagnation, and discontent. People who have suppressed their dreams are more prone to stagnation and discontent in their relationships. This may result from resentment, boredom, and lost chances, limited fulfillment on an individual and group level. Personal development strengthens relationships and the individual. Encouraging both partners to follow their goals contributes to a deeper sense of fulfillment for everyone, enhancing the journey together. Loss of individual identity. In a relationship, ignoring personal development might result in losing identity. This can impede the growth of a strong and harmonious partnership by fostering a sense of codependency and dependence. How, therefore, can we develop a relationship that honors and promotes personal development in line with Seneca's Stoic wisdom? The following are some crucial actions. Celebrate and acknowledge her aims by showing a sincere interest in her aspirations, objectives, and hobbies. Encourage and assist them, even if their opinions are different from your own. Make room for personal interests. Urge her to commit time and resources to pursue her hobbies, interests, and objectives. This allows her to cherish her uniqueness and find fulfillment outside the partnership. Accept chances for mutual growth. Investigate events and activities that advance personal and group development. This may include enrolling in classes, picking up new skills jointly, or volunteering for causes that are important to you both. Communicate truthfully and candidly. Talk openly about your goals for personal development and how you may help one another on your journeys. Constructive criticism should be given, and accomplishments should be acknowledged. Recall that personal progress is a continuous process rather than a destination. Progress is a lifelong adventure. Accept that each person's goals are unique and modify your assistance to fit. Recall that a healthy partnership is about dancing together as two unique people rather than becoming one. By encouraging personal development, we tend to the fires of our passions, feeding the relationship's common flame. Seneca's advocacy of the basic. Stoic ideal aligns with this, as it fosters a relationship in which each person's flourishing enhances the bond between them and results in a fuller, more meaningful journey together. Number 12. Belittling achievements. Imagine overcoming great difficulty to reach the top of a mountain, only to be met with a shrug and the words, "It wasn't that hard anyway." The enormous deflation would end the happiness that comes from success. This situation, regrettably, illustrates how undermining a woman's accomplishments saps motivation and produces a poisonous environment. It starkly contrasts Seneca's advocacy of the Stoic virtue of kindness, which promotes genuinely joyful and giving celebration of others' accomplishments. Seneca thought that virtue should be recognized and valued wherever it appears, no matter where it comes from. Disrespecting a woman's accomplishments in a relationship has negative effects, devalues effort and hard work. Feeling undervalued causes her to lose confidence and willingness to work toward her goals in the future. It produces a feeling of never good enough, impeding development and happiness on a personal level, creates animosity and negativity. Her accomplishments are minimized, which makes her spouse the target of hate and negativity. This negativity ruins the connection by causing emotional distance and resentment to take the place of delight, limits potential and ambition. The absence of joy suggests that her aspirations are unimportant. This can prevent her from reaching her full potential by stifling her ambition and making her settle for less. Thus, how can we foster a bond that honors one another's successes and is consistent with Seneca's example of the Stoic virtue of magnanimity? The following are some crucial actions. Give sincere, targeted praise. Steer clear of platitudes. Acknowledge the distinct effort and diligence that went into her accomplishments, complementing her expertise, tenacity, or particular abilities displayed. Act as a passionate motivator. Express genuine joy at her accomplishments, convey her happiness, and show her that you genuinely admire her achievements. Recognize the difficulties. Acknowledge the challenges she overcomes to accomplish her objectives. This indicates that you appreciate her work and know the extent of her accomplishments. Please pay attention to personal assets. Honor her accomplishments that are consistent with her principles and strong points. What counts is what matters to her. Practice reciprocity by being transparent about your accomplishments and genuinely happy for each other's successes. This deepens the relationship and encourages admiration for each other. Recall that a healthy partnership is an environment of support rather than rivalry. When we sincerely celebrate each other's accomplishments, we create an environment where both people can develop, flourish, and realize their full potential. This aligns with Seneca's central Stoic idea of creating a relationship where generosity fortifies the tie and feeds the individual flames that enlighten the joint path. Number 13. Comparing to others. Imagine that you have a magnificent, multifaceted diamond whose flaws and brilliance have shaped its distinct beauty. Imagine you will always compare it to other brilliant jewels, each with a unique charm. The appreciation of the special features in your hand becomes less important than your desire for something better somewhere else. Unfortunately, this illustrates how comparing a woman to others can undermine her value and increase her dissatisfaction. This contradicts Marcus Aurelius's emphasis on individual virtue and valuing her uniqueness in the Stoic tradition. Aurelius, who gained notoriety for his reflective meditations, highlighted the significance of realizing and valuing our distinctiveness. Comparing a lady to other people in a relationship has negative effects, destroys confidence and self-worth. Constant comparisons foster insecurity and a sense that one is never good enough, which erodes confidence and self-esteem, encourages jealousy and anger. Concentrating on what other people have causes jealousy and resentment toward the relationship, eroding mutual respect and trust, impedes personal development and self-acceptance. An obsession with outside comparisons takes one's attention away from recognizing and developing one's special abilities and potential, which impedes personal development and self-acceptance. So how can we develop a relationship based on respect for each person's individuality and consistent with the Stoic ideals that Marcus Aurelius personified? The following are some crucial actions. Turn attention to personal virtues and strengths. Honor and cherish the special attributes, skills, and strengths that make your partner who she is. Honor her uniqueness rather than how she stacks up against others. Promote self-awareness and acceptance. Assist her in developing self-awareness and acknowledge and value her distinct abilities and characteristics. Assist her in creating a positive self-image based on her own experiences rather than those of others. Exercise appreciation and thankfulness. Express your thankfulness regularly for all the good things she does for you, emphasizing her contributions and activities. She feels more valuable in the relationship as a result of this. Accept openness and vulnerability in communication. Establish an environment of open communication and safety so she can express her anxieties and insecurities over comparisons. Reassure her and remind her of her special qualities. Recognize your tendency to compare yourself or others and be aware of it. Setting a good example promotes a change in perspective toward valuing individuality. Recall that a happy partnership expresses the union of two distinct personalities. We develop a relationship based on mutual respect, acceptance, and a journey of personal development when we encourage appreciation for each person's unique talents and strengths. This connects with the central Stoic idea that Marcus Aurelius espoused, strengthening the relationship, where each person's individuality comes through, and deepening your appreciation of the diamond you already hold dear. This list of 13 things you should never do for a woman is based on Stoic wisdom and emphasizes the significance of establishing significant relationship values. We may successfully negotiate the complexity of contemporary relationships by putting 3 ageless Stoic precepts into practice. The 3 precepts include open communication, mutual respect, and the goal of equality. We lay the groundwork for thriving, long-lasting relationships by fostering these qualities. Recall that this list is a jumping-off point for thought and conversation rather than being comprehensive or prescriptive. Since each relationship is different, these guidelines should be followed with tact and consideration for each partner's particular requirements and circumstances. Building and sustaining happy, successful relationships takes honest conversation and open communication.